Hello, hello. Actually, I think we're hello. Yes, okay. We got there. No worries, no worries. We're gonna continue to play Password, okay? Hopefully, hopefully. Hopefully nothing's wrong with the recording. That would be really sad. Surprisingly, I slept well, or at least as well as I could with so many things running through my head as I lay down. As I woke up, I could see Dean's fingers drumming lazily against his chest, his arm, his other arm still wrapped around me to keep me close. I shifted only a little bit, reaching out for his hand and finding him shying away the moment my fingers grazed his. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Did I wake you up? I looked up at him and saw that he looked tired, really tired. No, but how long have you been awake? Oh, Dean starts to rub my back, keeping his eyes trained on the ceiling. Woke up sometime in the middle of the night. And you didn't sleep? I sat up and uh, I sat up, so I was sitting next to Dean, looking down at him. I placed my hands on his belly, trying to catch his eye. My voice kept down low to try and let the others keep sleeping. Is everything all right? Yeah, I'm good. Dean threw his hands to his face, rubbing his eyes. I caught a glimpse of his fur, but they seemed pretty puffy and wet. Okay, maybe he was having an allergic reaction. Just after yesterday, would have taken something to help me sleep, but priorities changed. Priorities? Dean pulled his hands away, shooting me a tired smile. You, of course, had to make sure you were all right. Can't have you all worried now, can we? But are you going to be all right on this little sleep? I watched as he pushed himself up onto his elbows, then propping himself up on one hand so he can pull me closer to him with his other. His nose brushes softly against mine before he kisses me, backing off so he could sit opposite from me. I'll be all right. Might just take a nap later, if you say so. I looked over to the other two, so far as uh, who so far still seemed to be asleep. Sal was having a pleasant dream from how he was idly chewing on his pillow with a happy smile. Ty, on the other hand, looked like he had about as rough as Dean looked, although he still seemed asleep. Didn't help that he seemed to be growling though. In our own time, we all got up. Not that it took that much longer after I'd woken up. Morning, guys. Did everyone sleep all right? Sleep, maybe a couple hours at best. Slept, yeah, not very well. Everything all right? Is it because of the company? Nah, stuff on my mind. Don't worry about it. You too, huh? Know that feeling. Did either of you want to talk about it? No, I'm good. Just need coffee. Coffee sounds great, and a nap later. Shall we get sorted and meet up with the others? Maybe a good idea, yeah. More importantly, Dave, did this help? Uh, you dork. With what you were worrying about. I guess so. And about doing stuff as a group? Well, I still want that to happen, of course. Board games, right? Anything, really. I just want to stress how important all three of you are to me. The other three too, but we're going to have to get along, huh? Right. That might be difficult. Really? 'Cause of me, huh? Right, but not you specifically. Roswell, I'm guessing. He was laying into you pretty hard yesterday. At least he grew a pair. That's one way of putting it. It was a little odd. He's not normally that much of an asshole. Well, no, but that's not really a nicer way of putting it. Look, I get it. I'm an ass. I don't... I did bad things to him. I deserve it. How long ago, though? Even I heard the stories, but, truth be told, I probably judged you faster than I should have based on them. Orlando told me stories, too. For that, I apologize. Fuck it, I get it. No point hiding that I've been an ass to people in the past. But he's a good person now. I'm getting better, pup. At least trying to, at least. But no buts, pup. For what it's worth, it's admirable. But forgive me for still being cautious. Same here. Yesterday helped, though, believe it or not. Remind me to pull you aside for a chat, too, Tyson. It's something I want to run by you. What? I looked between the two of them before noticing Dean gesturing my way. Ty then gave me a look before nodding to Dean, seemingly catching on to something. All right, sure. I looked to Sal, who seemed to be looking elsewhere, distracted by something. But I knew Dean and Ty well enough that even if I asked, they weren't going to tell me. We should go downstairs now, right? Sort out breakfast and whatever. Yeah, plus getting into a fresh pair of clothes, too. Alright, guess I'll see you guys downstairs then. Thanks for hosting us in your room, Sal. Next time, clean your room Next time, clean your room better so you can host. Okay. Hey, maybe I'll do the same, you know. Then I don't have to worry about leaving afterwards and can just sleep in. I left behind Dean, heading towards my room. I didn't get very far before I felt a hand entwine with mine, and he pulled me into his instead. No sooner than we ended up on the same side of the door, he closed it behind us, pressing his muzzle against mine firmly. I squeaked as he kissed me, holding me against the bedroom door as his tongue exploded into my mouth. Jesus Christ, Dean. At least I assume this is Dean. When he pulled away, my cheeks were red, but I was certainly more awake now than I had been so far. Sadly for Dean. He looked just as tired, if slightly happier than he had been in Sal's room. Morning, handsome. Good morning. What, cat got your tongue? No, but, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Hey, behind closed doors, I'm taking advantage of all of the alone time we can get, at least until it's official. And, unless you're not okay with that. Oh, no, it's fine, just, I adjusted myself, clearing my throat and trying to find the words for how I was feeling. I just assumed that you'd be too tired to, What, kiss you? Maybe we were going beyond that, into something involving a little less clothes, maybe. Even still, if you asked, I'll probably still try. Why, are you asking? No. I gave Dean a gentle shove to give myself some breathing room, catching a whiff of how he smelled. Surprisingly, not of honey. What? I smelled again, stepping forward and burying my face into his fur, a sign that he took to slip his hand behind the back of my pants. The scent that lingered on his fur had remnants of the honey smell that it was otherwise, just earthy, slightly sweaty. What is it always with these games and, like, descriptions like this? Why are you smelling me? I need a shower? I need a shower, sure, but... Oh, it's just... you normally smell of honey. Oh, is that all? It's in most of the stuff I use in my fur. Shampoo, conditioner, even have some moisturizer that Haas recommended. But why honey, though? You don't like the smell of honey? No, it's fine. It's very you. At least that's what I associate you with now. Well, I'm your honey bear after all. Jesus Christ. My honey bear? Of course. You're my handsome little honeybee, and I'm your honey bear. This man. He sure is something. I chuckled as he kissed me atop my head. You conscious of how I smell, though? Well, not really. It's a nice smell. Whenever I smell honey, I think of you. At least, it's like that for a few things. Oh, that's news to me. Want to share? Maybe, some other time. I'm more interested in what kept you from sleeping last night. Oh, that. Dean wandered over to his bed and sat down on the edge, picking up a fresh set of underwear from a clothes pile nearby. Was going to take some medication, after what we talked about yesterday. Yeah, and you said priorities changed, right? Sometimes it's easier to not sleep, specifically if it gets really vivid. So you just lie there awake? Having you cuddled up next to me, cuddled up makes things easier. Made me feel like I was doing something right. I wandered over, standing opposite Dean as he continued. It was nice, but dunno. Would have been nicer in my bed, with a bit of privacy. Well, I wouldn't recommend trying it. Sharing a bed with me, like we originally planned? Well, if it'd help. And what if you rile me up that I might want something else before getting some sleep? Well, I look Dean over, eyes just trailing down further than they'd probably should have. If we were going to share a bed, and if yesterday morning was anything to go by, didn't you say that I got to say when? Like, when I felt ready? Well, that's true, but even if you're not ready for that, can do other things. What other things? Come on, Dave, you're not that naive. Oh, well, you're right, but is that okay? What, potentially seeing others naked, touching, or... And mouth stuff, right? Mouth stuff, huh? Well, hey, I've never sucked a dick before. Is there a right way to do it? Any rules? Not really any rules aside from just watching the teeth, but we don't even need to go that far if you don't want to. I must have been bright red from how hot I was feeling in my face. Not only that, but the look that Dean was giving me made it all the worse. Hey now, no pressure. I'll even put on more clothes if that'd make you feel better, so we could just cuddle and sleep. But if I wanted to do more, then all you need to do is tell me when you're ready, and we can go from there. I nodded slowly, watching as Dean smiled through a loud yawn. You sure a nap is going to be enough to get you caught up on sleep? I hope so. Probably will use some medication tonight, so let's aim for tomorrow night. That work for you? Oh, for a brief moment I'd forgotten about my meeting with Oz. All things considered, it worked out well, so I quickly nodded. Sure, tomorrow night works. I've been, well, there's something I wanted to do tonight anyway. Oh? No, nothing like that. Just something I need to sort out is all. Well, alright. But if you need a hand, let me know. Don't know how much help I'll be, and I'll be out of it after those meds, but I'll come running if you call. Thanks, Dean. Dean stood up, kissing me on the forehead as he wandered past me and into the adjoining bathroom. For me, I headed back to mine to get changed properly. The lack of coffee was starting to get to me, and I had a big day ahead of me. I came downstairs with everyone else arriving within minutes. My eyes looked at each of them in turn, checking them off in my head. Then the moment I had all 6 of them in my sights, I sighed out in relief. Good morning, everyone. Morning. Hope everyone slept all right. Could have been better. Wouldn't have minded if it was a longer rest. I still felt sort of stiff after yesterday. I looked over to Orlando, catching him watching Sal briefly before looking at the ground. Okay, so everyone's accounted for. No one's missing? Eyes were on me again, and I shifted nervously on the spot. I couldn't smell blood or anything amiss so far as I knew. Everyone was fine, Benson included. No, why would anyone be missing? I don't know. While the others started to talk about things, I heard something else, something that drowned out the conversation in the room. It was a distinctive clacking of shoes on tile, each stride each stride taken with deliberate purpose, measured in equal cadence. Even Roswell, Orlando, and Ty had stopped talking to look towards the door to the dining room. Standing there, hands clasped behind his back as if nothing was wrong, was Benson. "Good morning, gentlemen." All of us watched as Benson kept his pace, walking around us to the kitchen. He opened the door, looking back at me before calling out, "Master Dave, would you mind if you and I had a private chat? Shouldn't take long." I found myself pointing at myself, with the otter wandering into the kitchen without waiting for an audible reply. He spoke the same way as a teacher or a parent would, where their question was rhetorical. I guess I'll be back, guys." I pushed the doors open to the kitchen and closed it behind me, looking around to see if I could spot Benson, finding him near the coffee pot. Benson had a finger on his muzzle, focusing on the coffee brewing for a few moments before he turned to me proper. I owe you a great deal of thanks, Master Dave, for coming to talk." Benson strokes the edge of his muzzle, where the fur bunched up in a sort of mustache, thinking something over. "May I be plain?" Apologies. I mean, may I speak in a more casual manner?" "Oh, of course. Now, Dave, my boy, the master of the house informed me of the efforts you went through last night." "The master?" "I believe he's given you the title Oz to go by, yes?" "Oh, yeah, him. So you do work for him?" "Of course, I'm his butler." "Beyond that, however, you fretting over my life is a gesture that has flattered this old otter, my boy." "Truthfully, thank you." "Well, I wasn't sure how I should be responding here. Was he just humoring me? Was he sincere about how he was feeling about the whole thing? Where has he been while it was going down anyway? No one mentioned seeing him during the search for the gun, after all. As a sign of my gratitude, may I offer some advice?" "Advice about what?" One more Benson's hands stroked his mustache before returning to their place behind his back. Would I be right to assume that your plans for this evening are to converse with Oz?" Well, yes, but if you know his name, can't you tell me? I'm under instructions to not speak as plainly as I am now until you two have properly spoken." "But why?" "Loyalty, my boy, loyalty. There is no greater pleasure in life for a butler than to serve the house of its inhabitants. You are bred for the role, or at least grow into it. For me, there is no more fulfilling purpose. The downside, however, is that your whims are beholden to others, sometimes to your detriment. I am getting off track." He's deliberating, testing your ability to find him. "I just have to find the library, right?" "Correct." "Where is that, though?" "Have you not found it? There are multiple points of entry." "Oh, brother. Well, then perhaps a clue. I've been forbidden to disclose its location to you, but I can nudge you in the right direction." "Is that okay? You're not going to get in trouble, are you?" "Ah, your kindness of youth." "Do not worry for me, my boy. I've lived long enough that I know what I can take and what deserves. I can assist you in many ways, just not the location of the library. Not yet, at least." "What other ways can you help me?" "If I can manage it, advice, insight, weapons if you desire so." "Weapons? Why would I need a weapon?" "All things considered, Dave, is it much of a surprise? You claim to have seen the results of a weapon, what a weapon can do, and yet you balk? What? What is this word? Why is my vocabulary so limited?" Meaning.
Bark.
Balk?
Bark.
Oh, okay. Hesitant or unwilling to accept an idea or undertaking. Baseball. Of a pitcher making a illegal motion. What? Hesitate or unwilling to accept it. Okay, well. Okay. And yet you balk at an offer to keep yourself adequately armed for self-defense. Truthfully, I'm astonished, though the offer is indeed genuine. There are many things around the manor that you could use, some less subtle than others. Can I let you know later? Oh, actually, batteries. Can I have batteries? Batteries. What the devil do you need what batteries for, my boy? Oh, in case the ones in my flashlight go flat. Heavens, and here I was thinking you were planning something with a car battery. Okay. I shall see what I can scrounge up and leave them in your room later. Oh, that should be fine. Again, it seems we've gotten off track. Once you meet Oz, I'll be freer. Freer? Is that how that? Okay. Freer to talk. Until then, the key to finding the library is to talk to one of your friends. One of my friends? One of my friends has found the library already? Wait, why does that sound familiar? I can confirm that yes, one of them has. After all, they've been here before. Benson had... After all, they've been here before. So is it Roswell? Huh. Benson's admission left me stunned. Someone had been here before. When? Why? Which one? It must have been a habit. With Benson playing with his mustache once more before replying. Unfortunately, that's all I can tell you for now. Benson turned away from the coffee pot, satisfied with how it was coming along. Either it just took a long time to get going, or this was some sort of special slow roasting process I was unfamiliar with. I watched as he started to prepare breakfast, pulling things out of the pantry that I hadn't noticed before, muffins and alike, almost as if it had been restocked recently. Muffins? Why would you eat a muffin? And for breakfast? Bruh, you can just eat bread. Like, you can just grab a loaf of bread, like milk bread or something, and just, like, do shit with that. I don't know. Is it normal to be concerned? Concerned about what, my boy? I just want to keep my friends safe, that's all. But I get the feeling that the more that I mess around with things, the harder it's making it for myself. Grounded worries at that. For what it's worth, the master of the house is a decent person. Someone that I'd put the trust in having the vested interest in things coming out from for the best. But is that outcome everyone surviving? Would any other ending be as satisfying? So I can trust him then. My question made Benson freeze, if only for a moment, before he continued preparing things at his usual pace. Decency and trust aren't mutually exclusive, my boy. It is something you will need to decide upon yourself. Decide upon meeting him. Okay, but do you know who's behind it? Who'd want you dead? Or who's putting these images in my head? I do not. A lot of the enemies I once held are now long gone, for various reasons, mind you, but nothing I can do can assist you in your understanding here. But I can trust you? I believe the best way to answer that would be to say that if you can trust Oz, you can trust me. My loyalty to the master of the house guides me to act on his best interest. If his objective aligns with yours, then consider me an ally. Bear in mind, I am still just a butler. Your decision to trust me does not affect my duties around the house. Which I assume after yesterday means that there is a likelihood that you may need some laundry done. Well, yeah, sorry about that. It's quite alright. Now, any questions? Any other questions? Just one. By all means, my boy, what's on your mind? Do you think we're going to make it out of this okay? Benson sighed out, going to play with his mustache before stopping short. Perhaps he was lost in thought, searching for the right thing to say before he gave me a look. I couldn't place the expression exactly, but it was somewhere in the realm of worry. I can only hope so. We stood in silence, with Benson breaking before I did to continue preparing breakfast. Meanwhile, my eyes found the floor. Tired again. Coffee. I needed coffee. Everything going all right in here? I jumped, not hearing Haas enter the kitchen. Haas! Oh, Master Haas. You... yes, everything is fine. Master Dave and I had just we're just having a chat, that's all. I hear you all had a busy day yesterday, and he had some concerns about my well-being. Well, truth be told, I heard much of it myself. Oh, I see. Where have you been anyway? You've been scarce lately. Oh, just resting the old bones. When you get to my age, you fall under the weather from time to time. Yep, lying. Pardon? You're lying. Lying? My, what an amusing idea. Perchance, much of you, would you be willing to lend me a hand with breakfast? A man with a keen sense such as you must make for some excellent conversation. Sure, I don't mind giving a hand. What about you, Dave? Gonna help out too? Wouldn't blame you if you wanted to head back out to the others, though. Dean and Tyson were getting antsy as to how long you were being, but I'm not sure how much of that was their want of coffee coming through. Oh, I don't... I assume we'll go hang out with, like, Tyson and Dean, since they're oppressively horny. But I don't know. Kind of want to hang out with Benson, though. How come Benson's not around? Yeah, we'll leave. I looked at the door Haas had come through, thinking of the others I left back there. Yeah, I probably should head back, if only to make sure Tyson and Dean are okay, right? Young men that are without food in their stomachs can be irritable for sure, Master Dave. Go on, the two of us can manage just fine. All right, thanks for the chat, Benson. No, thank you, Master Dave. No sooner than I'd walked into the dining room, I bumped into Dean, who was lingering near the door. What, Dean? What, did he want to talk to you about? You alright, pup? I looked between the two of them before looking past them to Roswell, Orlando, and Sal currently seated at the table. I wasn't gone that long, was I? What did he say? Nothing important, really. Dave, you were gone for a while for a brief chat. Did he chew you out for something, or? My guess would be that he wanted to thank you for being concerned. Am I right? Yeah, it was. How did you know? We weren't exactly quiet last night when searching. He probably heard us. Did he say anything about that? Like who might have wanted him dead? Nope, no, he had no idea. It was worth asking. But where does that leave us? Waiting for breakfast? What, not going to help out? Hey, I don't have to cook if I don't want to. You're right. What's on your meal? Who's on for meals today anyway? I suppose I could volunteer for lunch. Depends on what Benson's doing. If he's around more now, we might not need to worry about it. Any idea where he went anyway? Like, why he's not been around? Sick, apparently. Not surprised there. He is pretty old, right? Almost as soon as he'd finished talking, Roswell started coughing again, covering his mouth. Oh, geez, that hasn't cleared up? You taking anything for it? I don't want to catch whatever you have. Your concern is noted, Tyson. It seems that Roswell's behavior has possibly improved from yesterday, but he looked exhausted from almost coughing up a lung. Just take it easy. We'll see if we can't get something to help out that cough. I watched as Tyson got up and headed towards the kitchen. Brought back to reality by Sal nudging me. Do you have any plans for today? Not that I know of. Anyone have any ideas? Not really. Assume that you'd want to do something again as a group. So long as it's not too draining, I should be all right. Just need to get a nap in later to make up for last night, and I should be all right. It wasn't long before Benson and Haas emerged from the kitchen, laying food out on the table. As I grabbed food for myself and started eating, Dean poured me a cup of coffee. No sooner had the smell of it hit my nose, and and I felt at peace again, sighing out despite the mouthful of banana I had. Occasionally, I'd shoot Benson looks, unsure of what to make of my situation. He was joining us for breakfast this morning, it seemed, satisfied with eating his porridge and coffee, nearly as black as Dad took it. I looked at the others at the table. Which one of them had been here before? Who knew where the library was? I had a feeling I knew, but with a whole day ahead of me, I wanted to try and figure it out myself. I was wondering what? I noticed that Benson was now listening in, curious despite keeping his attention for the most part on his porridge. What's everyone doing today? Probably just hanging out until I'm ready for a nap. Maybe I'll soak in the tub for a bit before turning in. Maybe I'll do the same. Hot tub, huh? Mind if I tag along? Not at all. Might take a load off today and just sit and watch TV. Orlando, want to join me for a bit? Sure. Watching anything in particular? Nothing comes to mind. How about you pick? All right, I think I've got just the thing. What about you, Roswell? No plans. Might just be lazy today, or wander around the house. Huh. Well, okay. What, worried about me? I can take care of myself. I shot Roswell a look, wary, but said nothing more on it. I did need to talk to him yesterday, but I had to get a start on searching for the library. Where's my water? Okay. There you are. Well, good. Meet back for lunch then. Dinner? There were nods all around, and I got up to leave. Benson, something's been bothering me as of late. What can I do to ease your troubles, Master Roswell? It's just, we're the only ones here at the moment, right? And just the 8 of us here in this room now. My eyes darted to Benson, who moved to play with his mustache once more. That's correct. The only ones here currently in the mansion are the 8 of us in this room. No one else. Right as Haas cleared his throat, I looked at him. He caught my eye and stopped, about to say something, but giving me a look instead. Was he about to call out a lie from Benson? Should I let him? My mind tried to remember if this was going to be a problem or not. I vaguely remember something about Oz not wanting to give himself away. So if he was a mysterious 9th person in the manor, was I meant to keep it hidden or say something? Benson must have caught Haas's gaze directed at me. Him too now looking at me expectantly for a decision to be made. No one else was saying anything, seemingly happy with Benson's original answer. Just 8, huh? Support Benson. Yep, just 8. I laughed, nervous. No sooner were the words out my mouth that classic hyena chuckle gave me away. I snuck a glance at Haas, who seemed floored by my comment. but no mention of it beyond that. Guess he was happy letting things unfold for now. Well, good to know, I suppose. Might have been a little odd if the person who lived here was still, well, here. Now, Master Roswell, that's why I am here. If the master of the house were still around, you'd likely see him around by now. I nodded slowly. At this point, I wasn't sure if I was convincing myself further on what Benson claimed to be fact, implicating one of my friends as Oz or not. Only 8 of us, huh? Well, hey, if Benson ever wanted in on the scavenger hunt proper, at least we'd have even teams. No, these old bones of mine are much too tired to be gallivanting around the place like I did in my youth. Though, I appreciate the offer. Well, if you change your mind, just let us know. Well, I believe I shall. But I believe for now, I shall clean up for breakfast and move to doing some laundry. I shall be around if anyone needs anything at all. Benson picked up his breakfast dishes and wandered into the kitchen without another word. I watched him go, fidgeting as to whether or not I made the right decision. Well, that clears things up. Well, I'm going to wander around the mansion and see everyone at lunch. Roswell left soon after in the same way Benson did, disappearing into the kitchen. I'm going to get changed for the hot tub. I'll be coming too. Tyson? What? You're coming, yes? Oh, yeah, give me 5 to get ready. The 3 of them filed out, leaving their spots at the table as they were. Thankfully, they hadn't made too much of a mess, but must have been in a hurry. Didn't clean up after themselves. Haas started stacking his dishes along with Tyson's before moving on to Sal's. Well, I was going to offer to clean up breakfast anyway. Least I could do is give you help. Giving you help make it. Well, I'm happy to help too. My hands are many hands and light work and all that, right? Sure, between the 3 of us, it'll be quick. We gathered up what we could and brought it into the kitchen, making a few trips back to put what leftovers we had back into the fridge for later. That should just be about do it or whatever. Shouldn't we wash the dishes too? I feel bad leaving them for Benson. It'll be fine, right? Will it be though? Probably. Hang on, Orlando. Let's hang out for a bit. I watched both of them leave, sizing up the dishes. They weren't all that many in the grand scheme of things. Maybe I should do the dishes. At the same time, though, I could just as easily leave them for Benson to do. You know what? Let's clean some dishes. Let's help out Benson. Okay, dishes. I wandered over to the sink and started working down the list of things I needed. Dish soap, check. Plug, check. Sponge, double check. I don't know why there were 2, but I guess it was if I had a backup in case one broke. Do sponges break? They tear, I guess. I guess that's like similar. I started filling the sink with hot water, waiting until it was actually hot before putting the plug in. Dad had said that only hot water makes dishes clean, and I remembered Orlando saying something to that effect too. Then again, the stuff Orlando used were really fancy, or at least said that you had to clean them in a particular way to stop them from breaking or just going bad. Plug in dish soap in, and the water began to foam. Okay, so what do I clean first? I looked at what Hassan, Orlando, and I had gathered. There were plates, mugs, and glassware too. I wash glass first, right? Or is it plates? Let me think. Water is clean, which makes it easier to clean, and... Fuck, I don't know how this works. You think I've ever done dishes before, video game? I usually do plates first. I don't know about anyone else, but Plates. You wash the dirtiest first, right? So that it gets doesn't get all stuck, I think. I start scrubbing in earnest, working through all the plates until it all were mugs and glassware. I grabbed the mugs, if only because I knew how gross they would get if you didn't wash them after having coffee. I pull a face, remembering the time I left a mug on the floor of my room once. Not to mention the scolding I got from my dad about not bringing dishes down after I'd finished eating in my room. The water was murky now, and I took a look at the glassware left. With the grimace, I washed the first glass, pulling it out, barely soapy water soon after, and cringed. Okay, yeah, that just looks worse. I changed the water over, embarrassed, and got the glass looking at clean as everything else was. Not the most efficient use of water, but hey, at least everything was clean now. As I dried my hands and towel over, I came face to face with Benson. Oh, Benson, hello. What are you doing, Master Dave? Oh, I just thought dishes helpful, you know? I gestured over my shoulder with my thumb, hoping I'd done a good enough job to pass for something a professional butler could do. Ah, well, it is appreciated you'd step in, but that is very much why I'm around. But helping is good, right? Absolutely, Master Dave. Oh, just Dave is fine. As you wish. There is another thing I wish to thank you for, at least knowing you did the dishes. What's that? For not pointing out the Master's presence. Well, there's every chance that he's one of us, right? And there being an extra person will just complicate things, right? Complications are a matter of opinion, my boy. But you are correct. There is every chance that he's one of your friends, or someone else. Wait, so is he or isn't he an extra? I was starting to think that there were 9 of us here. Did you not come to that conclusion when you conversed last night? That there was indeed an extra beyond just your friends? Well, now that I think about it, can't you be Oz? Pardon? Yeah, like, you know the house well enough, and I haven't seen you and Oz at the same time, so... Astute observation. Perhaps I am Oz. Wait, really? I suppose you'll just have to wait until tonight, assuming you can find the library. Any tips for that, beyond what you said before? Benson seemed to think things over, stroking his mustache. How about large houses like this How much about Louge? What is words? I don't even know. Large houses like this do you know, Dave? They cost a lot of money? They do. What else? Like a lot of... Dave. Perhaps I should rephrase my question. And they can be spooky? Why do you say that, my boy? Because sometimes they have... The realization dawned on me that I worked through it. This wasn't some movie or some work of fiction, except it is. This was an actual house, right? Have what, my boy? I feel like you might be onto something. Benson, does this house have hidden thingies, passages, and rooms? Benson, with a knowing smile, held a digit up to his muzzle, indicating to be quiet. Why? What a novel idea, Dave. Wait, so... I believe that you should go searching. There is a chance you might find something of sorts. And who's to say? Now, run along, Dave. Happy hunting. I nodded to Benson and scurried along. There was somewhere I figured I should start my search. I headed upstairs and wandered into the museum. This was the best place to start looking after all. I had a good idea for assuming this too. Oz knew I was here, and of all the rooms I knew existed, there was no better to start searching. After all, where else was there likely to be a secret held? With so many books, the answer was bound to be in here somewhere, right? Oh, just start pulling books off the shelves. Just start doing it. Just like make a mess of everything. There's gotta be one of these books has to be a trigger. Like, come on. Pulling a book off at random, I started to flick through. I frowned. Seeing nothing but pages upon pages of text regarding something. The words were long and difficult. What is this anyway? Turning the cover in my hand, looking at the title. I really should look at the covers of the books. This one's just about, wait, I don't know what that word is. Let's see here. MYCOLOGY. What the fuck?
Mycology.
Mycology?
Mycology.
The scientific study of fungi. Okay. We do it. I looked at the book again, flipping through. Sure enough, there were pictures of mushrooms, listing that what they were called and a bunch of other scientific terms about them. My attention stopped on a page about death caps, a chill running down my spine. Ugh, of course there'd be a book about mushrooms. I scanned the page briefly, noticing a couple things. Namely, wait, 6 days? I thought they said 6 hours, but that... I frowned, thinking back on it before turning page. A lethal dose. That's 10 times the lethal dose of strychnine. Oh, but wait, wasn't that that was in the Spiral bloopers, right? That like really shitty mystery anime from like the early 2000s. Shit, man. I remember getting an episode free from like a magazine. Was that from that? It was either that or the first volume was at my local Blockbuster. And so it was just like an anime I could watch at the time, you know, being like 9. And wow, it was so bad. Like, I only watched the first 4 episodes because I was on the volume. And Jesus Christ, it has like the worst opening theme I have ever come across. Like, I think it's called Spiral. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if you look it up sometime, it is 10 out of 10, worst opening ever made. I love it. And I remember it in the blooper reel for the English dub. They said like that's 10 times the lethal dose of strychnine, and he like slurred it real bad, and it was just such a fun. That was like, it was a good time. Jesus. Am I nostalgic for 2002? Yes. No, not actually. But one weird thing about that... Yeah, this is story time, by the way. I remember there was a Borders, right? Like, there was a Borders I went to. And it actually had Japanese volumes for manga. Like, you could just... had all the kanji and shit, and I'm just like, why is this here? And they had the Spiral manga, and I didn't buy it. I probably should have. I should have bought a couple things, just like for memories, you know? That would have been cool. But yeah, it was just like, it was so strange. There was just like, you had the English section and then the Japanese section for manga, and it was like, who's buying Japanese volumes of it was, oh my god, it was so dumb. And people wonder why Borders closed. Probably because they didn't have an online store. They didn't, right? That was the reason? I remember reading that somewhere, but whatever. Damn. The lethal dose of only half a mushroom as well. So maybe if Dean ate a full one, that'd make him die in 3 days, maybe? I sighed out, slightly relieved that Dean dying was less and less likely to be suicide. Maybe it was just an accident. Maybe something else. But something I'd have to talk to him about later. Not only that, but it'd give me another chance to ask him about what he was talking to Roswell about, too. Mycology? Didn't think you'd be into mushrooms, Dave. Whoa. It's only me, don't worry. Doing some wandering on your own? I half expected you to follow the others to the pool, or even hang out with Haas and Orlando in the rec room. Well, I thought I'd do some research. Oh, on anything in particular? Or, you don't have to try so hard, Dave. A lot of these books are well beyond the normal comprehension level of people our age. I can still try. After all, after yesterday, I don't want to be the one everyone's protecting. No offense, but what you were claiming was a bit out there. Right, that's why I'm looking for proof. Anything to prove I'm not crazy. Well, alright, need some help? I won't turn it down if you're offering, but I'm able to do it myself, I think. If you say so, I'll just go look around here for some completely unrelated reason then. I shot Roswell a dirty look as he wandered away, snickering to himself. It seemed as though his attitude was still lingering. The next half hour, we just looked through books in silence. At some point, Roswell picked something up and sat down on the floor, leaning against the wall as he idly read something he'd chosen off the shelf. So much for being beyond our level of comprehension. Still, I kept at it. Before finding a green-covered book and flipping through it, the moment I saw the floor plan, I knew I hit the jackpot. Pock? Pot? I can read, I swear. Most of it was about architecture and the building, and building the house. Yeah, whatever. But thankfully, it had the original floor plans along with annotations on some notes regarding the layout. The downside, however, no library. In fact, a large portion of the house seemed to just not be here. The vault wasn't listed in the basement. Some of the rooms that hadn't been to weren't here almost as if they'd been added a whole extra wing on as an afterthought. Damn, I thought there'd be what would be it? I hesitated, wondering whether or not it'd be best to clue Roswell in onto what I was looking for. Whether or not he was the one that had been here before, I shot him a look, sizing him up. Was wondering if there was, maybe a clue to how the mansion was built. Anything in particular? Maybe a clue to where some metals could be. Roswell looked at me, expression blank. Yeah, this is a pretty blank expression. Blank shy of the smile that he had plastered on his face. It was hard to tell what he was feeling, but it was clear he was thinking in the silence for my question. Hidden rooms, stuff like that. Hidden rooms, Interesting. Interesting how? It'd be very on theme, don't you think? What? I like murder mansions having secret rooms of moving around to get us. Exactly. Wouldn't surprise me if there was something, given how big this place is. Why wouldn't you have a secret panic room? If you're rich, why not splurge on one? Is that normal? Like I said, if you have money, why not? Yeah, just look at what's his name's house, Carl from Echo, where he has an entire dimension under his house that may not actually be there. Poor John. Man, that makes playing Smoke Room feel real bad. Is when in Clifford's route where you can find John's house and it's oh man, that means that already happened. It is what it is though. Like I said, if you have money, why not? I feel like that's sort of a waste of money, isn't it? Maybe. Unless you're hiding something there as well. Maybe. In any case, secret rooms seem likely. Huh? Well, any idea on where any could be? Honestly, there could be anywhere, unless you went through every room with a tooth comb, you're likely to get one by accident. You have a fair point. But are medals really why you're doing this? Or are you just itching for an adventure? I gave Roswell a quick once-over, unsure. Gotta do something, right? Especially after yesterday. Maybe there's something more to what's going on. Yesterday sure was something, not gonna lie there. Yep, there was. You were tearing into Ty something fierce, too. So what if I was? Don't you think that was going a bit overboard? I've never seen you act like that, act that way. It was, well... It was what? You were being a bit of an asshole. I love this change in expression. Like, saying that he's unable to love, that's pretty low, Roswell. And if it's true? But how do you know it's true? Have you spoken to him recently? Why would I go and do that? Do you remember who he is? Tyson. The Tyson, remember? No, I remember just fine. Remember, he's my friend. You really think that? You really think that he's... That he's what? That he's changed? Well, yes, given his behavior so far. Why would I expect that all of a sudden? He's turned over a new leaf. Because he hasn't? Exactly. No, what I mean is, it wasn't sudden. He's been like this for a while. You were gone a long time, Roswell. Things changed. You can't honestly expect me to believe that you've fallen for him. No, not that. Not in this route. Go on, then. He's important to me. Roswell shook his head, sitting his book down and standing from his spot on the floor, rubbing his temple. You have Stockholm Syndrome pretty bad, Dave. I what? Have you forgotten everything bad he did? What, do you mean... You can't honestly tell me you've forgotten everything he did to us. He shaved your fur, he stapled your ears to the school notice board, he dragged you around by the tail. Need I mention the countless times that he beat you up for lunch money? But that's all in the past. What? And I'm just meant to forgive him? Oh, sorry, Tyson. Guess I should just forgive him for everything now. Dave said it was okay. That's not what I meant. Then what, pray tell? What are you... what you meaning? Are you meaning? It's not really my place to say, is it? Do you genuinely have a reason for him, or are you just making excuses? I sighed out, mimicking Roswell and rubbing his own temple. Just, when you moved away, a lot happened. Sure, Orlando was around, but Tyson was also around. Things changed. But I also learned about other things. Why he did some things. He did some things that he did. Oh, this is going to be good. What sob story are you going to tell you? What sob story did he tell you, Dave? Not so much as a sob story, but I was over at his place once, and there was a fight with him and his dad. Kept me behind him the whole time, so his dad didn't get to me. What? And you just stayed there? Why didn't you run? Because I wasn't going to abandon him, Roswell. He was hurting. Because of me, or someone else, something else. It didn't matter. You don't just abandon people in trouble. You can't be serious. I am. What would my dad have thought if I left him in his lurch like that? He was in trouble, and I was the only one that could help. So what happened after? He tell you his life story? No, this all happened after I knew bits and pieces. This was more proof. Maybe. Not that some of the things he said were stuff you'd normally lie about anyway. Like the lunch money thing. What about lunch money thing? Well, probably doesn't show now, but he doesn't get to eat every meal, Roswell. I find that hard to believe. Okay, so maybe I invited him over pretty often to eat. So now you're just he's just leeching off you at home? It's not like that. If you didn't get to eat every meal, sometimes for a week, what would you do? Well, Dave, I eat like one meal a day, so you can fuck off. Uh, Roswell, he stole from us so he didn't go hungry, whether he wanted to or not. He didn't have a choice. When his dad was blackout drunk, he showed me the cupboards were bare. What little was in the fridge was gone off. It was real bad. That's not an excuse. Look me in the eyes and say that, Roswell. I dare you. You've been so harsh on him that you haven't given him a chance. You don't even want to give him a chance. Yesterday, that was just not fair. So much so that you should probably apologize. You can't be serious. There's no way I'm apologizing to him. What? Are you going to keep fighting? Are you going to keep picking fights with him? You're the smartest one out of everyone here, Roswell, so I expected you to at least know better. What? You heard me. Tyson can be a jerk, but yesterday you were more of a jerk than he's been lately. I let the comment hang in the air for a bit. Roswell went to speak a few times, the words just not coming. Instead, he resigned to pulling at his fur on his chin. It felt uncomfortable confronting Roswell like that. There was a history. I knew that. But with him being gone so long, it just didn't seem right that he'd be holding onto things that happened so many years back. So, was there a reason? Anything. Did he do something recently, or... No, not that. There's a reason. Is it a good reason? Probably not, in all honesty. It's just an overly cautious of something as of late. Something that's worth taking it out on Ty. I just keep thinking to myself, time. How much do I have left? How much do we have left? What sort of time before we part ways? The vacation? Death. We have so little time left, Dave. We're both young. How can you possibly think that? Countless possibilities for tragedy around every corner. I feel the shadow of a grim reaper lingering over us more and more as time goes by. I wish I could say that this was just some shtick that I'm pulling like I would just to get a rise out of Orlando, but I genuinely have this sense of dread about things. Nothing in particular, just in general. Someone's going to die, Dave. I can tell you I know. I can't tell you how I know, but I know. I don't know how. I don't know who, either. You, me, or one of the others. It could be anyone. But then why antagonize Ty? He didn't deserve what you pulled yesterday. It's not that. Just, if I were to die tomorrow, or even if he were to die tomorrow, it's just, what, to try to balance things out? That was about balancing things out. Yes? Because to me, it was just seemed like you were being a dick for no reason. Excuse me, he had it coming. Not to that extent. Not to the extent you went to. You seemed to get in whenever you could with one thing or another. And I don't want to see that happen again. You realize that he's been leeching off of you this whole time, right? No, he hasn't. What? Are you... and you think there's some noble reason that he's the way he is? Some excuse he's fed you? I don't need anything he said as proof. I've seen it, Roswell. I just told you that. I've seen firsthand what his dad does to him for no reason. I've seen how bare his cupboards are. I've seen him be scared as you or me for the smallest things we take it for granted. Like what? Like having a safe place to sleep. Or not having to worry about going hungry. If he's told me what when we were kids, I'd have trouble believing him, but having seen it. So he had a reason this whole time to treat us like dirt, and I'm just meant to forgive him? To some extent, yeah. And why's that? Because like it or not, Roswell, I nodded to myself, knowing full aware where I'd placed Tyson staring down Roswell. Family? You can't be serious. I am. He's important to me. Maybe like a brother if I had to pick something. Maybe something different entirely, but he's still important to me. If you're going to make me choose between the two of you, then, well, is it really going to come to an ultimatum? It better not, because I'm not picking sides. Just know that if you put me in a position where I have to choose, I'm going to have to weigh up the fact that someone's making me choose to abandon someone, and if they're worth keeping around. Roswell looked me over. I could see him searching for an answer, as if he wasn't completely sold. Wasn't completely sold that I had been genuine on. I was being genuine on that claim. Look, just no more pot shots at Tyson. He's been good so far, right? What about the other day? What about the other day? I'm not an idiot, Roswell. You were pressuring him. You were pressing his buttons deliberately. You can't prove that. You're right, I can't. But I know Ty, and I know you. And I know that you know he wouldn't kick up a fuss about a wolf and dog thing unless provoked about it. Why would you rile him up like that anyway? Was it to try to get him to hurt you on purpose? Are you jealous? Are you trying to get rid of him? What? Okay, fine, I'm jealous. We were friends first. He's a terrible person, and I hate that I didn't clear who you wanted to bring first. I hate that I didn't clear who you wanted to bring it first. Okay. No, you need to accept that he's changed, or at least, at the very least, give him a chance. I can't make you apologize, but I think you owe it to him. Or if not an apology, promise me you won't go making it hard on him on purpose. If he was acting up, then by all means, but don't go picking fights with him. Fine. Roswell started to grumble, kicking the ground. I'll try. You mean it? He sighed out, retrieving his book and dusting it off, tucking it under his arm. It's not easy to let that go. I want to see proof from him that he's gotten better. You're not willing to trust me on this? Not really. Those scars run deep. I want an apology from him just as much. So if you apologize to each other, I'll consider it. We're here for a month, so logically speaking, you're right. It makes no sense to be at odds given proximity. He wandered past me towards the entrance of the library. Where are you going? To my room. To read. And the apology? You're not my mother, nor my therapist, Dave. I'm not trying to be, but you're my friend, and I'm trying to help make things better. Well, let me work through it on my own. I reach out in vain to stop him from leaving, but he strode out of the room with a purpose. Oh boy. Looking around the museum again, I wonder if there was any hope of me finding what I was looking for in here. As much as there were books, this apparently wasn't a library. I think I'm gonna call it for this part. So, yeah. See you around, everyone.